Yes We Canada podcast, the progressive's guide to getting the fuck out. This episode,
American Carnage. Hey, I'm Matt Zimble in Montreal. Last week, just before the election, we left you here. Should Trump lose on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever they finish counting all the mail-in ballots in Maricopa County for the 6th time, Trump can whine about the results being stolen from him, he can play golf, he can go to court, and then he can go to jail. And then he can shut the fuck up and leave us the fuck alone! Oh. I'm not sure how unhinged endorsements are supposed to be. We've never endorsed before. And this time, we're endorsing Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America. Well, fuck. That didn't go quite as planned.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
On election night in 2008, I was in L.A. at an election watch party with a bunch of people who'd worked on the Obama campaign in California.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Katie Couric at CBS News election headquarters in New York. And we have breaking news, momentous news, really. CBS projects that Senator Barack Obama of Illinois will be the next president of the United States.
The room exploded into screams and tears and shouts of the greatest joy I've ever seen amongst people at a party who were still clothed. A few minutes after the networks declared Obama the winner, BlackBerries around the room started vibrating. Text from Obama lit up the party. I'm in the car on my way to Grant Park, and I want to thank you for your amazing work on the campaign. Because of you, yes, we did. Now, for our younger listeners, a BlackBerry was an electronic communications device created in Canada that for a while dominated the global mobile market. It had an actual keyboard to type in. To type on. And the phrase, yes, we did, is a past tense wordplay on Obama's campaign slogan, Yes, We Can, which also inspired the title for the hit podcast, Yes, We Canada. The morning after Obama was elected, I saw a black man in a sharp suit with a briefcase walking down La Brea Boulevard, and I thought, that guy's life just got better. Now, I have no idea who he was. He might have already been the CEO of a Fortune 500 company for all I know. But with the leader of the free world now black, that man in L.A. had a little branding backup. Right now, I'm thinking about the hit that black women in the United States just took. And we're going to circle back to that in a second. But before we do, I want to go back to the fall of 2008 because Obama's election was momentous. Not because he was the most progressive president of our times, because he wasn't. Joe Biden was, but because Obama was not the establishment candidate, which is why so many lost souls will proudly tell you, I voted for Obama, then I voted for Trump. God love you. Permit me to set the stage. It's September of 2008, the final days of the campaign for President of the United States. The U.S. has been plunged into an economic crisis so bad, so earth-shatteringly stark, that the fifth largest investment bank in the U.S., Lehman Brothers, went bust, with a debt totaling $768 billion. And this was no startup bank. They'd been a bank for 158 years. Broke, insolvent, ruined.
I want to thank the leaders of the House and the Senate for coming. I appreciate our presidential candidates for being here as well. We're in a serious economic crisis in the country.
The Bush White House asked the candidates to pause their campaigns and drop by the People's House for a little bipartisan disaster baiting session. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, our Republicans deliver. And this time, they delivered the financial collapse of the American banking system with a side order of a war in Afghanistan and another war in Iraq without just cause whatso-fucking-ever. After Obama was elected, the headline on the satirical magazine The Onion read, "Yet again, black man gets worse job in America." But I can't leave you hanging. I know you're concerned. Were the bankers okay? Yep. The government judged the banks too big to fail, and the executives were judged too rich to understand how food stamps work. They took their bonuses and fucked you all.
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any in modern American politics.
On November 5th, 2024, Donald Trump was reelected to the presidency of the United States. He beat Vice President Kamala Harris, who, according to Trump, is an Indian woman who turned black.
I didn't know she was black.
Black women in America are some hurtin' right now, and for good reason. Harris rolled what I think was a tremendously inspired, gaffe-free campaign. It ran for 107 days, she raised $1 billion, and yet, as Americans embraced their favorite spray-tanned reality TV star turned convicted felon, she did not improve or even hold Joe Biden's 2020 numbers in the 4,600 counties in America that vote. But she did get 45% of women voters and 85% of black women voters. In some states where measures to protect access to abortion were approved, Harris lost. The New York Times quoted a voter in Maine who put it this way: "The sisterhood did not stand up." Childless cat ladies, you need to unite. In the days before the election, Mr. Trump vowed to be a, quote, protector of women, whether women like it or not, end quote.
As president, I have to be your protector. You will no longer be abandoned, lonely, or scared. Women will be happy, healthy, confident, and free. You will no longer be thinking about abortion.
After Shirley Chisholm, Hillary Clinton, and Kamala Harris, it seems that for the job of President of the United States, women need not apply. Right now, the blame game is in full throw. Biden should have gotten out earlier. There should have been a primary. The media was sane-washing Trump, who was filleting microphones at his half-empty rallies. Harris should have had stronger policy statements. Walz should have stopped being such a knuckle-headed, doughy dad. Harris should have put her gender and her ethnic roots up front. Yada, yada, yada. Harris is ascent to the role of presidential candidate after Biden's removal follows a very modern trend in corporate leadership. The men fuck it all up, and in a stroke of progressive thinking, the board decides to, finally install a woman as CEO and probably pay her less than a man. And then she has to dig the team out of the muck and mire of disaster. Usually she fails because the infrastructure is not there to support her success. So the Harris loss is tough for women, particularly for black women. To see Republican racism and misogyny so completely unmasked, to hear the true stories of women bleeding out and dying in hospital parking lots because they no longer have access to maternal health care, it's not American. It's dystopian.
But America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back.
Sorry, sister, we are. Trump won the popular vote, the Electoral College, the Senate, looks like the House, and it seems the Politburo. We are going back, way back. Post-election Republicans have been memeing on the socials. Your body, my choice.
Folks, this is not who we are.
Yep, Joe, y'all that. The first 100 days of Trump's second term will be astonishing. Conservative policy engineers at the think tanks have been working on this 100 days for 5 years. Did you ever ask yourself, if a felon can't vote in some states, why can we vote for a felon? Crazy, huh? So Trump is not only elected, he is now what we call on the pod an unaccompanied moron. There will be no adults in the room this time. Just boot-licking sycophants. So when Donnie J says build the wall, the sycophants will say, ha ha. When he says school nurses will no longer be allowed to perform gender reassignment surgery in schools, the sycophants will say, no problem, boss. We'll get Bobby K to fire all the school nurses. When he says, I want you to build the most beautiful internment camps in the history of deportation, Eric and Donnie Jr. will have the model sales suites up and running in no time. The unaccompanied moron and his new cast of enablers will be scary. Retribution. Boy, oh boy. You know, I wish I had become a tax lawyer because those motherfuckers are going to be busy. Should we be worried? Yes, we should. Because perhaps you've noticed, if you hang with Trump long enough, you go to jail. Roger Stone, Michael Flynn, Steve Bannon, Michael Cohen, Peter Navarro, Rick Gates, Paul Manafort, Alan Weaselberg, George Papadopoulos. You hang with Trump, you go to jail. And now we're all hanging with Trump against our will for the next 4 years. And jail time for us, it might be living through a completely unnecessary recession because Trump imposed tariffs because he doesn't understand who pays them, or China decides now's a better time than ever to invade Taiwan because they know that the moron in the Oval Office would blow the U.S. response. Oh, and as our world heats up to temperatures we've never seen before, Modus is all drill, baby, drill. So yeah, we're going to prison. Modus is back, y'all, moron of the United States. Now, Trump is transactional. He needs his voters for their votes, for the campaign contributions, and he'd say whatever he needs to say to make that transition.
They're eating the dogs. Whoa, 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 whoa.
But now, he doesn't need those people anymore. Aww. So yes, there will be tax cuts, but not for you. And yes, the Republicans will kill Obamacare with legislation that is written by the insurance companies and Big Pharma. So there will be a new health plan, but not for you. And when you go shopping and your Make America Great Again t-shirt that was sewn in China now costs an additional $15 because of tariffs, you won't be able to afford your new Donald Trump trading cards. Aww. So my Republicans, as you gloat and tell us leftist lunatics that woke is broke, I'm telling you, with deep humility, that you may have succeeded at the ballot box, but when you open your mail and find out that your insurer will no longer cover you because of a pre-existing condition, you'll be losing at the mailbox. We need a businessman to run America. No, you don't. You need a statesman or a stateswoman. The public is not the stockholders, Congress is not the board of directors, and the Justice Department isn't Hank in compliance. Elon Musk and his broligarchy are going to try and gut the civil service. No more slow-walking conservative values, no more studies and consensus building. Businessmen haven't got a clue about how to create a healthy and productive bureaucracy, one that gives American taxpayers the services that they pay for. This has been tried before, but this gang of arrogant businessmen will soon find out that running a bureaucracy is nothing like running a company. Trump won because saving democracy was not worthwhile to the majority of the low-information voter. Watch enough Fox News and you might not be blamed for thinking that democracy doesn't work so well. As Obama once put it, if I watched Fox News, I'd hate me too. So, as we always do on Yes We Canada, let's take a very short moment to acknowledge the person most responsible for the decline of the once great nation, the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman Emeritus of Fox News, Rupert Murdoch. Right, Bruce, thank you very much. It's been truly a pleasure to... Shut the fuck up, you. Wait, as a leftist, I almost forgot. I'm supposed to be nonviolent. Pi, can you fix that, please?
Sure can do.
Thank you. And on the social calendar, Joe and Dr. Jill Biden invited the Trumps to the White House. Melania passed. I guess she's seen the joint. It's tradition, though. It's protocol, and of course, it's not a gesture that Trump had the class to do when he left office. He did invite some people to Washington, but Joe Biden wasn't among them. Now, I've tried to imagine this meeting. You know, the beige wingback chairs in front of the roaring fire, the busts of MLK and JFK in the background. The first words out of Trump's mouth, "Joe, sorry to wake you from your nap. I won bigly." "Oh, wow, I love what you've done with the place." And Joe would be like, "No, by all means, Mr. President-elect, nice to see you." They shake hands. "Wow, small hands. Where's your supermodel? My doctor is disappointed she couldn't make it." "Yeah, I mean, I know she's already seen the dump." POTUS and MOTUS. Just a couple of seniors hanging out. Okay, it's time to wrap. But it's also time to fight. In perhaps the greatest fuck you to an incoming president in history, the American Civil Liberties Union bought a full-page ad in the New York Times on Sunday. Dear President-elect Trump, in case you had any doubt, we are the American Civil Liberties Union, and we're not moving to Canada. So rest assured that when you target immigrants, dissidents, and your political opponents, we will challenge you in the courts, at state legislatures, and in the streets. Surely you remember the landmark lawsuits we won against you on family separation, the U.S. Census, and immigrant rights, some of which were decided by judges you appointed. During your last presidency, we brought 434 legal actions, including 250 lawsuits, against your administration's anti-civil liberties agenda. We also mobilized the power of our more than 1 million card-carrying members in the streets, at airports, and in state capitals. We developed a comprehensive roadmap to defend our rights beginning on day one. We're not new to this. At the ACLU, we play the long game. We've been around 105 years and seen 19 presidents come and go. That's why any attempt to roll back the nation's civil liberties on our watch will be hard-fought and met with the full power of our resistance. Steadfast and determined to make ours a more perfect union, we remain the ACLU. Now, normally that would be a pretty cool place to end the pod. Punchy, resistance forward, a little cocky, with just a smattering of indignant self-importance. Just where you want a podcast to land, right? But this is the last episode of Season 3. So we wanted to take a second to tell you how much we enjoyed sharing this season with you and how much we appreciate your listenership. Now, with a total of 3 seasons and 46 episodes, you have enough Yes We Canada to drive from Bangor to Biloxi and only listen to this podcast. Though, why anyone would want to do that, we have no idea. So, end of Season 3, a new regime in Washington, an election year in Canada. What do we do next? You know, sometimes writing satire about what Republicans say kind of feels almost unfair. They're eating the dogs. School nurses are doing gender reassignment operations at school. Drill, baby, drill. Guns, guts, and, goobers. I'll solve that war in 24 hours. Oh, man, it just doesn't stop. You listen, you laugh, you get disgusted, and then you get sad. When the majority of Latino men voted for the person who threatens to demolish the Hispanic community, immigrants, naturalized, landed, dreamers, undocumented, doesn't matter. The disparaging things Donald Trump said about the Hispanic people, and you still voted for him? Hombres, really? White women, you voted for access to abortion and then voted for Trump? The guy who brought you the end of Roe versus Wade? The convicted rapist, that guy? Ladies, what? And white fellas, my bros, you didn't think a woman president could stand up to world leaders. Angela Merkel, guys? No, it's not a beauty line. Guys, she was the fucking Chancellor of Germany for 16 years. She stood up. And you know what? If you wanted someone to stand up for you, how about the former Attorney General of California? Yeah, she stood up to bankers who offered her $4 billion to compensate the citizens of California after the banks improperly foreclosed on homes. And Kamala Harris walked, told the banker boys to stuff it. And then she morphed their $4 billion offer into a check for $20 billion. Bada boom. America needs a businessman for president? World leaders wouldn't respect a woman? Really? And my Republicans, my law and order people, you guys are going to be the ones that pardon the January 6ers? The ones that beat the cops, sending 140 to the hospital and 5 to their graves? Y'all proud of your Proud Boys? Really? Clearly, as you can see, I can't stop. but I must stop because Season 3 is over. I want to thank you for listening and supporting the show. I want to thank our team, Lisa Evans, our announcer, Pi Salen Cutler, our sound designer and mix engineer, Mio Edelman, our permanent guest host. The theme to Yes We Canada was written by Doug Wilde and myself and is performed by Manteca. Friends of the pod, do not fret. At some point in the next 1,530 days, with shock, sadness, and painful intestinal gas, MAGA Republicans will realize that they've been hoodwinked by a Carney Barker from Queens. MAGA. Make America grift again. You guys, you did it. Congratulations. Until next time.